Well, hello, everybody, and hello, Chad. How was your week this week, Chad?
Stressful.
Yeah. Just getting into the grind of the new year finally, and it's just starting to pile up already, huh?
Well, no, that's more about my son, my youngest son. You know, I know you follow me on Facebook, so I mean, he got diagnosed with something that only about 200,000 people get a year, and that's stressful. We've been working through that, and the day that he got diagnosed, then they're calling around to pharmacies, and there's nobody that can fully fill the prescription that is being put together. So it's been stressful. Yeah. So and at the same time been trying to work my oldest son through a health issue, and he's home from school again today, because he just can't function. So we'll get through it.
Yeah. Well, enjoy the family life, Chad, because with all the heartache and stuff and stress and time, it won't be too long and they'll just be gone.
I know. And I'm straight up, I'm really dreading when my oldest is gone. I mean, I absolutely dread when he's out, and it's for reasons that are purely selfish. I mean, the dude saved up all his money for months and months and months and months, mowed lots of yards, bought himself a PS5, and when that leaves the house, then my farming simulator leaves the house.
I love it. I love it. I posted a picture of Timothy, my youngest, learning how to dance on the internet or whatever on the social medias this week, and it was funny because somebody sent me a private message and said, there's an Xbox in the background. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, I have children. Which one? The older one, because I don't
like the black one.
No, not the 360.
I still have the original black one in my living room,
and I mean,
and I still play it.
Well, and see, between the 6 children, they all have some kind of device, whoever, whatever.
Sure.
Then they've all got these things that they like to play and all this. But I just thought it was funny. It's like, that's not the only device I have in my house. Are you kidding me?
Right.
And then as far as playing, I mean, to be totally honest, when it's just sitting there and I have some downtime and I just need a brain break, I'll play a game similar to Farming Simulator.
It's very relaxing.
It's like a engineering city building game.
Sure.
Yeah.
We're
geeks, dude. I mean, we're geeks. Either that or we're nerds. I don't know. I don't know what the negative or whatever. I'm fine with it all.
All I'm going to say is last week I went into the Etc. shop, spent 50 cents on an Agco hat so I can sit there in an Agco hat while I farm. So
I love it. I love Agco. I fit, the whole thing, I love it, right? Oh, that's so awesome. You know what? You should start live streaming that, Chad.
I've thought about it, and the PS5 makes that very, very easy.
You can stream people. I mean, are you good at the game?
Pretty good.
Good.
Pretty good to the point that so I mean, I don't want to get too far in the weeds here, but I started a brand new farm this is Wednesday. I started a brand new farm on Saturday, and used a mod so that when I started said farm, I had $0. I had no money, no equipment, no nothing. Okay, no land, zip. And I did this on a map that's based in Iowa, my home state, of course. There is no Kansas map yet, so somebody get busy.
Where's that? I mean,
anyway,
where's the breadbasket?
So yeah, so and that what that does is that starts you in the month of August. So I'm literally, my character is just standing on empty ground with no money, no possessions, right? And I have now bought, and using that map advantageously, I bought an abandoned farm, and I have built barns, storage, and a place to sleep. And I have also built up my cash position now to about $185,000. And that is over the course of, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's how much time some sessions are an hour, other sessions are 2 or 3. But I've done that just all taking contracts. And so tonight, the plan tonight is to to use a borrowed tractor and a purchased plow and plow in my first field so that I can start actually planting on my own ground. So yes, I am good at the game.
If people were listening, there is a generation that would be looking at us going, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, like I said, it is purely a brain break.
There's folks that are listening to this that you know, honestly, they've spent their life farming and they're like, wait a minute, he started with absolutely no money. I mean, zero. I'm at zero all the time, man. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, it's not the same, but it's the same.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not, because there's things that go on in there that I mean, my equipment don't break down. I mean, seriously, it doesn't break down. I mean, at some point it will, but you know, I'm used to using all borrowed stuff. So there you go.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, speaking of social medias and whatnot, and I got this one for you, Chad. I see the vision. It needs to be Chad Fry, the farming guy. You need a YouTube channel.
Well, my official name within farm simulator circles is the Kansas Hawkeye. So there you go.
I love it. All right. Did you see the post that is getting so much traction that Harvey County Talk put out?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay. So I've got to throw out a disclaimer here, because we've put out that you need to watch the program, so that way you understand why the picture was there and the question mark and the emoji, because people have even commented down to the emoji. Okay. That was used. If you remember correctly, a few months back, there was an expenditure that Harvey County Commissioner Becky Reimer had requested in the amount of about $700, because there was a trip that she had embarked on to go to Texas for a conference pleasantly titled as the 30-30 land grab. Or I don't know what it is, but that's pretty much that was the topic of the conference, yes.
Right? And we're going to have another meeting here locally soon about the 30-by-30 rule.
Okay. So this is a question. This is something that's coming up. Sissy did a 30-by-30 sidestep with Sissy on the 30-by-30. We found out even more information on that. People have been a bit forthcoming and just providing more. So this discussion that is getting ready to happen in our community is in full swing. So anyway, if you remember correctly, during this time, I had made the comment that I didn't think that was an appropriate expenditure. There was a lot of question around it. The commission talked about it. Randy Haig, commissioner, talked about it. Don Schroeder talked about it. Well, in the end, Becky Reimer was reimbursed for that. They considered it a rookie mistake. Okay, so just that quick recap. Going forward, we had mentioned that there was not really a strong policy surrounding it. You know, just this, and so anyway, it opened up us to question, well, how do these other taxing entities do this? Do they have do commissioners ask for reimbursements? Do school board members ask for reimbursements? So we promised that we were going to go and we were going to look that up. It's not difficult to do. We went and just did a freedom of open records request.
Yeah, Kansas Open Records Act.
Yeah, at the school and the city. We got that information back, and I had mentioned that we would bring it forth. So we have the results. We have the results from the city, which are pretty much just open and shut. The city pays once yearly fee to the League of Municipalities, which is an organization which they can go be that they are a part of, but that they can go get once yearly training, or there's some other things that are involved in that. But to date, from what I understand, of the last 4 years, not one commissioner has asked for any reimbursement for anything that they've done. So any of these things that you've seen, Commissioner Cridu, Commissioner Kane, any of them, they never have asked for reimbursement for fuel, reimbursement for hotel, food, any of it. Okay. Furthermore, I would just like to say this. Kathy Valentine, Commissioner Kathy Valentine, doesn't even accept her payment that she's given for being a commissioner.
Yeah, the 150 something meeting.
But still, I gotta send a shout out to Miss Valentine on that. She gives it back, or does something.
She just views this as a little differently than most, and she views this as sort of her civic duty that is voluntary, and so she just gives the money back.
Yeah. So any time she drives anywhere, or she does anything that's city related, or commissioner related, if you call it that. She's doing it on her own dime. Okay. So then we did this at the school board too. And surprisingly, I guess I could say surprising in two ways, Chad. One way was I would have expected there to be more, just because I don't know, going into the situation, I would have thought, I'm hearing this and I'm thinking there's probably some smoke here. There's probably some fire. So there was a total of about $3,622.37 that was requested by school board members over the last 4 years for reimbursement. Okay.
And you know what? You're right. When you say you would expect it to be more. Yes. I would expect it to be more too. And the reason that I would expect it to be more is that those are pure voluntary positions.
Yes. So when I posted the picture, what I did is I took a snapshot of 1 year, which was the year 2022. The reason why I did this was because there's just some questions surrounding it, Chad. I mean, the questions that surrounded it to me was Mallory Morton paid the registration I'm just not going to, we'll post the picture. I'm not going to get too far into the weeds.
Right.
One thing that was surprising to me was that, and the only point I was going to make over the whole thing was that one school board member in particular is responsible for about 50% of that. Okay. So of the $3,662.37 that was spent over the last 4 years that school board members requested reimbursements for, school board member Mallory Morton was the largest receiver of those funds.
I'm going to throw a caveat at you for that.
Yes.
She is also the only member of the board in a long time that has spent multiple years as the president. So I would believe, having not spoken to her, that she would have viewed going to some of these things as really a duty as board president.
Yeah. And I'm not going back to say anything negative. Now, get me now.
Right.
Okay.
I'm just saying when we're looking at a number that is honestly a number that is skewed, because you're talking about a significant amount of that money being paid to one person.
Yes.
I just feel like we have to just be straight and say there is a circumstance that would lead to that being the case.
Well, and so and there you go. I mean, I think people are misunderstanding this. Like, some people are making comments personally about how they feel like that's perfectly fine and okay, and there's nothing wrong with what they're doing, and that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
And honestly, that's where I'm at. I really don't care.
I mean, I haven't even taken an opinion on it yet, Chad. I mean, the what I did was I posted a question mark and an emoji of thinking. Like, we're looking at these expenditures. Some people are getting reimbursed for fuel. Some people aren't getting reimbursed for fuel. Some people are getting, one hotel's costing $400. The other hotel's costing $300. One person's paying for registration. I mean, there's a lot going on there. And so it just, once again, goes back to the heart of the matter and how is this determined?
Right.
Like where's the policy surrounding this? Do you get paid for mileage? Do you get paid for fuel? Or, I mean, each one of these board members could probably say that they, I wonder, during this time, were there other school board members who were spending their own money to be able to go and do that?
It's very possible.
See, so this is, so don't get me wrong, folks. I'm not trying to go after anybody here. I'm just trying to point out that there is a question. And then I have a deeper level of a question too, Chad.
And what's your deeper question?
If you're an elected official that signs up to serve the public, is there really a need for you to be reimbursed for fuel or a hotel? And then why do some school board members do it and some others don't? And then ask the question about, well, why is it that only Mallory Morton and Matt Treaster went to this KSB? So why not all of them?
There's a whole you've asked a whole bunch of
questions.
I know,
Chad. I'm trying to find this out, but I'm almost kind of getting to the point where
with your first one.
It's like I'm not people get me. I'm not attacking anybody.
Right.
This is the first little we're opening that Pandora's box is what's happening.
Yes, because there's all kinds of things here, right?
But people got questions.
Yes. And so while, before we started, I was like, I'm probably not going to have a bunch to say on this, but I'm gonna say a couple of things. Okay, so when asking should they be reimbursed, the answer is yes. And I'm going, and hang with me now, because if you're one of those people that is sitting there going, what on earth, and is just madder than a hornet about this whole thing, hear me out. Seriously. The answer is yes, and here's the reason. None of these positions pay a whole lot of money. The county pays the most, okay? So they're in the tens of thousands. But at the end of the day, if we do not reimburse folks for things like this that need to occur, because we're talking about training, right? If we do not reimburse folks for that, we are going to limit our candidate pool to the people who can afford to do these things.
But don't we already do that? How many people
In many ways we
can
do.
be a county commissioner?
Anybody who can make sure that they have Tuesday mornings off.
Or all day Tuesday?
Yeah.
And then everything else that's involved with that.
Everything else that's involved with it, most of it occurs at times that people aren't working.
Same thing with city commission.
City commission is the same way. You got to be available when the city commission needs you, which is primarily 2 Tuesday nights a month.
But can you imagine?
And they do have other committees and other things that they've got to deal with throughout the weeks. I'm not trying to belittle the commitment that is made when you run for the office. Okay. The thing is, going to your employer and saying, I'm going to need every other Tuesday I need off, is a lot different than saying I'm going to need 6 weeks next year. It's just different. Okay? And some of the onus of this falls on employers too. I'm going to be straight. Okay? What we need employers who look at it and have a sense of pride that one of their employees has aspired to this, whether it be board of ed or county commission or city commission. They need to have a sense of pride that one of their employees got elected to one of these positions, because that's what it takes to be there. You have to be elected.
Well, most businesses want to shy away from politics.
They want to shy away from politics, but they need to take pride in the fact that they have an employee that has showed leadership quality.
Okay, Chad, but this is the way it is. I'm not going to come to your business establishment because I don't like what that elected official did and I disagree with the policy, and so I'm not coming here anymore.
Well, I'm going to publish a picture in the Newton Kansan on Thursday that's going to peeve some people off at me.
Oh, do tell, Chad.
And I'm pretty sure that there's going to be people that see that picture and I'm in it, and they're going to look at me and I'm like, I ain't ever going to do business with him again. Because I had the audacity to remain seated during the prayer at the county commission.
Okay, before we go on to that, and I want to go on to that, here we are.
And we will. I'm saying everything can become politicized. But as a business owner, you need to look past the fact that they're going to be in a position that can be politicized, and you need to look to the fact that you have a person working for you that aspired to leadership, earned the leadership, and is now in a position of leadership. That's something to be proud of. That is not something to shy away from. Period.
I'm trying to change the nature of the world, Chad.
Okay? So when I sit here and talk about, do we want to limit our candidate pool based on economics? Part of that is employers need to have that mindset. That's the mindset that needs to be there. When Grant Scott was on our city commission, school board and school administration, they cheered him on. They're looking at that going, one of our teachers is a leader in our community. That is cool. That's the right mindset.
So then people in the community, then I can tie this in. Okay, I can tie this into what we're wanting to talk about. I think the moral here is the informed voter. I'm trying to actively empower people that are interested in what is going on with their elected officials. I mean, I very highly doubt that most of you are going to go down and do an open records request. And I did this a while back here, and I sat on it, and I looked at it, and I thought about it, and I looked at it, and I thought about it, and I really just considered, well, what's the response to this going to be? I'm getting a lot of people asking questions about this. They like what we're going to do. We're going to utilize this as a learning moment in an information situation. And to be honest, all of us that are currently having this conversation on social media right now, whether we're for or against it, the same conversation that Chad and I are having right now, whether we're for or against it, we would not be having that conversation if this was not set in motion.
Right.
So the whole point of this, the question mark, the emoji, I take it back to the fact that now having the opportunity to be informed, now having the information in front of you, we get to, as a community, have a discussion about whether or not we think it's justified or not. I will tell you, I do believe that the majority of these expenditures are completely justified, in my opinion. I thought it would be more. It's actually less. There are some uniquenesses that I found out that I thought was kind of interesting, which I brought up on this. But this is not the first, right? This is going to be a process which we go through on every single taxing entity that is primarily responsible for you. The next is the county. Then we're going to talk about informed citizenry. I mean, literally, I made this post, and there was somebody that came up and said that's why we need to get rid of all city commissioners. And it wasn't even talking about serious. And then people got on and were talking about being informed. And it's
thank you for making that point, Lance, because here's the point I'm going to make. The discussion that we need to have is not about the individuals. It's not.
It's about the policy.
It's about the policies. The discussions that we need to be having are not about... We've sat here and named people. We can name more. We really can.
Yes.
We can name more people, right? Straight up. I mean, we've talked about Kathy Valentine. We've talked about Becky Reimer. We've talked about Matt Treaster. We've talked about Mallory Morton.
Rod Cry.
Sure. Yeah.
Leroy Kane. I mentioned them.
Yeah. You can mention anybody. Anybody. And the reason that I'm trying to stress, we can mention and you can mention and anybody can go look and name anybody they want for whatever reason they want. That's not the conversation. The conversation is, do our policies spell out what is and is not appropriate?
So us, the taxpayer, don't get taken advantage of by dishonest people that we've elected and are not and don't turn out to be the people that we thought they were.
So, and while I've been sitting here saying we don't want to paint targets on anybody, that's not what we're doing here.
That is correct. We are not doing that.
I'm going to invoke a name and tell you that had policies been clear, Becky Reimer would not have had a decision to make. Period.
And hence why we're here. The conversation began.
She sat in that meeting and she's like, there was nothing in policy. And she's right.
Yes. And now, if I was to be critical of her and her position and what she's doing, right, and we've uncovered this, then how hypocritical would I be if that was the only taxing entity that I decided to have a criticism of?
Right.
So, you want to know why this is happening is because I'm not a hypocrite.
So it's our conversation needs to center around what is truly appropriate. Right. So, in my case, I mean, I sat here and I said, yeah, anything associated with KSB, all of it appropriate. And I truly believe that.
And I agree.
Anything associated with the Kansas Association of Counties. Yeah, I think that's appropriate. Let's do this. Yes.
100% agree.
Okay.
League of Municipalities for the city of Newton.
You bet.
100%.
I mean, these are things that are, REAP. The Regional Economic Area Partnership, and that would include more than one of the entities on our list. Yes, completely appropriate. Completely. Let's pay that. Lunch with Chad, not sure I want you to pay that. Okay?
Or what's going on at the county commission, which we go back to this. Do we want our county commissioners, city commissioners, school board members electing to go on their own to something they classify as a needed or required, beneficial, and then come back and charge the taxpayer for it?
If there's not a policy to prevent that, then that's going to be a problem, and that's going to be a lot of individual decisions that need to be made.
Coming back to information, were you informed that there's really not very many policies surrounding what your commissioner or elected official can and can't do? Isn't it time to take that responsibly now?
And are we going to be sidetracked by trying to string up individuals?
Well, yeah, I'm not trying to string up nobody.
And I don't want that to happen. And just so everybody understands that there's a process for all of this. So if we want you want these policies created, okay, that's something to be asking of your body. That's a great thing to bring up during the public comment section.
Okay, speaking of public comment time, okay, I personally put out a post because I got to be real, folks. Okay, when you're trying to watch the county commission meeting, okay, there's the open of business and then there's public comment. So depending upon how many people are there to comment about whatever they feel they should be commenting about. And remember, this can be open to anyone for anything. If I want to go in there, seriously, and be put on there public comments and talk about how unicorns fly over the mountains and are from space and the fettuccine cheese god is all-knowing, I can do this.
Yes, you can. And there was a viral video out of Nebraska about 4 years ago about a dude who walked into a city commission meeting because he wanted a policy created and he wanted a local law created so that we would not call boneless chicken wings anymore. They would be called saucy nugs. And he went on for 15 minutes.
Yeah, so, and that's an exploitation of a policy which probably did not have a cap on how long the person could speak.
Well, and the whole nutty part is, as soon as, when he was done, and everybody was laughing at him.
Yeah.
But he was dead serious.
Yeah.
When he was done, one of the city commissioners fessed up that it was his son.
Okay.
You know,
so there's that. Okay, but this
so
is the thing.
It really is anybody for anything.
Yes. So if that's the case, for the rest of us who are there, who want to watch county business be conducted, who want them to get down to business, who want to be able to see the city commissioner, the school board, or whatever the case may be, I'm of the mindset that it's best, okay? I'm not saying do away with public comments, obviously, but I'm thinking for the rest of us that want to participate in this process, who don't have like a single issue or something that we really, really want to talk to the commissioners about, I'm wanting to watch the meeting, Chad. And depending upon how many people show up to do this, I mean, how we've seen this in the past. I'm not saying that people don't have the right to get up there and speak. What I'm saying is there's been people who have leveraged the fact, group mentality, to leverage the fact that these public comments are at the beginning of the meeting. So therefore, well, if 20 of us go in there and we're all guaranteed 3 to 5 minutes apiece, then I'm going to go in there. Well, now we're up to, well, I'm sorry. I'm already, my mind is pretty much here. I just want to watch the business. I'll stick around for the public comments. Okay.
Right.
But
maybe what you want is the city model where the public comment comes after the business of the commission.
And then this is the thing. Our intent through all of this, I've said it over and over and over again. What is HCTALK? It's an informative, educated, and entertaining program. That's the point. We are trying to educate you, inform you, provide you with access so you can have an opinion, so that way you can be part of the process. And listening to this program right now is going to help those that did not understand before that is an effective way to be able to participate. So it goes back to what I said then again. I am of the belief that these need to be put at the
end
of the meeting.
And understand, I mean, I think it's very important for people to understand something here. Legally speaking, none of these entities actually have to have a public comment section. It does not have to be on their agenda. Flat out, does not have to be there. And likewise, there's no rules or regs that say that they can or can't limit how much time you get.
People that it must be the nature of the beast, because it's the same thing that's been playing out on the social media post that I posted. Nobody knows exactly what it means, but they're all commenting on it because they're all projecting their own belief and thought. I had somebody ask me, what's the deal with the emoji and the question mark? It's like, I don't know. You seem to perceive it as something that is pointing towards something disingenuous or nefarious that these people are doing, like I'm uncovering something. I didn't see anything anywhere that said that. So if you'd been watching the program, you'd know that we were going to cover it, that this is just a piece of it, and this was already on the horizon to happen.
Right.
So I guess be more informed. I mean, I don't know. I love doing things like that. Just so you know, if there's an emoji and a question mark, stay away. Because what you're doing is when you comment on something like that, then you are automatically telling whoever you're commenting to or watching or whatever the case may be, what you really think about them, what you think about their doing, and then you project that onto them because you don't have enough information to really know what the whole point was.
So if you want to know why our roads are so bad,
love it.
You want to know why our roads are so bad?
Torrential rainfall and horrible.
I'm just going to, there's something I'm going to say. If you want to know why our roads are so bad, you can either read it in the Kansan because I'm reporting it and have been, or you can watch the portion of this week's meeting where Jim Meyer sat down at that table with he and two other people, which represented more than 100 years of experience working on these roads. Mm-hmm. Not any roads, these roads.
Like they know where the dip and the divot and the washout and everything happens. They got it by the back of their hand, they memorized. And those are good men.
And
I know every one of them, and they're all good men. Honest, hardworking men that I'm glad do the job.
And Jim wrote everything out in advance, and he sat there and he read it. So I'm going to read something for you.
Read it.
A combination of recent weather events have adversely impacted unsurfaced roads in the area severely. Thanks for the understatement, Jim. This event did not show deficiencies in our roads. It created them. There you have it, folks. And you know, I don't know if we really plan to do much on this today, but here's the real deal. He goes on to say, as a result, Commissioner Becky Reimer requested it from Road and Bridge a road improvement plan for unpaved roads projecting the next 3 years, which he provided. You know what else he provided? A 12-year history. You don't get a 12-year history without a plan, do you? Just saying. And on that 12-year history, you find out that East Lake Road has been gone over more than any other road in the county.
It's because it's a high priority, high trafficked area. And they have those. They have high priority roads.
And then you read his plan. Number 1, and this is for regrading, which is basically rebuilding these roads. Number 1, Southeast Lake Road. Number 2, Northeast Lake Road. Number 3, North and South River Park Road. Number 4, Southwest 84th. Southwest 84th is a problem, people. And the problem is how it was built. And there's no two ways around it. And it's going to cost a ton of money to figure out how to fix Southwest 84th. But as all of this is here and it's on paper, I want everyone to hear the words of Anthony Schwarzenegger. When you put something out like this and you put it out on paper, it doesn't become a plan. It becomes an expectation. So now there are people that are expecting, first thing they're going to do is Southeast Lake Road. Second thing they're going to do is East Lake Road. The third thing they're going to do is North and South River Park Road. And then they're going to go out and they're going to do Southwest 84th. Southwest 84th, they've been trying to figure out how to pay for what needs to be done on Southwest 84th for more than a decade. It isn't going to happen anytime soon, but that's the bullet list.
Yeah.
And that's the expectation now. And all of that can get blown up by one more winter storm.
Yeah. Or overly wet temperatures like what we've been having.
They have spent almost their entire budget for gravel and sand and salt for this year in the last 3 weeks. So quite honestly, these things probably aren't going to happen this year. There's going to have to be some money found. This stuff don't happen for free. And that's money in this year's budget, not next year.
And then what if that just has to get pushed down the road? Because what
So,
happens if all of a sudden
you
3
wanna know?
and 4 have to be number 1 and 2 next year?
You want to know?
But what is
Here's
it?
your answer.
Okay, so I got a question. Okay. You give the final word because we're coming to the end of the program.
Keep in mind, we are in a moment of complete and total irony and juxtaposition. We have roads that are suffering from all the moisture that's been put on them. Meanwhile, as of right now, we are still listed as being in a drought. We haven't even caught up from the absolute extreme drought that we suffered. Hopefully we will at some point. So I'm just going to say pick your poison. You either need to deal with some kind of rough roads for a few weeks or not being able to grow a darn thing.